everybody, and welcome to episode 14 of the Shinesparkers Podcast. I'm Amanda Van Heil. I'm going to be your host, and I'm joined by Roy and Darren. And we got some very exciting news during the latest Nintendo Direct during E3. Metroid Dread is happening, and so we're going to be discussing our reactions and thoughts in the future of the Metroid series.
Did it actually happen? I still can't quite believe and grasp that Metroid Dread, Metroid 5, is actually real.
All of our dreams are coming true. It's just ridiculous.
It's the equivalent of having Half-Life 3 released. You know, it's just, I never thought we'd see it happen.
You know, anytime I see a thing that says Valve, like when I see a bunch of valves on a wall and it says Valve on it, I always want to take a little sticky note that says Half-Life 3 confirmed and then just put a little dash and then it says Valve right under it. I don't know why. That's just a silly thing I always want to do.
So I just can't believe it's real, first of all. When I saw it on the screen and I saw that there was going to be, you know, a discussion of Metroid Prime 4, and then there was the talk of, you know, but meanwhile, here's a new Metroid game, and it was like, oh my god, I can't believe there's going to be a new Metroid game. There was rumours about a 2D Metroid for a while, but actually seeing one it just blew my mind. But to see Metroid 5 come up, that changed everything, because it was like, okay, this is serious now. This is a sequel to Metroid Fusion, which is almost 19 years, in fact, since Fusion. And when it was actually called Dread, that was it. You know, emotions were everywhere. I just couldn't believe what was being seen on screen. It looks amazing. I'm really pleased to see that Mercury Steam has come back to make a second game, and the Emmy robots that were featured are just terrifying. Like, the way that they lock on to Samus and just chase her down is going to make things like 10 times more scary than the SAX, in my opinion. And just the fact that there's like a whole planet full of them is just terrifying. So I'm very excited to play it. I can't quite believe that it's coming in October, which is only like 3 months away or so from the time of recording, which is just, yeah, I'm really overwhelmed. As a Metroid fan, when I became a fan in 2004, this was a game that was being rumoured, and we all expected that it was going to come like very soon, and it never happened. And then over the years, you know, I waited, and I think around 2010, when Metroid Other M released, it was kind of, yeah, it's never going to happen. They're never going to make this game. Rather than make a sequel, they're going to make a prequel. So yeah, I kind of gave up hope on it, and I think a lot of Metroid fans probably gave up hope on it ever happening. You'd see it in E3, like leaks, if you will, fake leaks, and it was Metroid Dread, and that's how you knew that it was a fake leak, because it was just so impossible that it would happen. So seeing it was very special, and just the fact that it's coming so soon means that we don't have to wait very long. I can just get straight to playing it, and I can find out what happens. So yeah, very, very exciting, very happy. As a Metroid fan, I'm absolutely over the moon. It is the game that I wanted to see more than anything, more than Metroid Prime 4, you know, more than the Metroid Prime Trilogy remake or whatever is going to come. Metroid 5, nothing will ever top that for me. So I'm absolutely thrilled. Yeah, that, in summary, that is pretty much how I feel, like overwhelmed, ecstatic.
I still have to just pinch myself that this is real. I became a Metroid fan over a decade ago, when I discovered Samus through Smash Bros. And then started editing Wikitroid. And it was there that I found an article for Metroid Dread. And I looked into it and I thought, so a game was planned for Nintendo DS. And it might have been canceled. And I thought, oh no, does this mean it's never going to happen? Other M put the series on ice for 6 years, and then it came back with, well, Mega Block Marines, as I call it, Federation Force. We all thought the franchise was dead. Then it came back in 2017 with Samus Returns, and I thought, maybe these guys, because they did so good with a remake, what if they make Dread? What if they're the people who can finally realize Dread? And Yoshio Sakamoto said at the time that he wanted to make a new game. I had reason to be optimistic this year, just because the timing felt right, and based on what Sakamoto had said, and just to actually see it, I screamed. Darren can attest to this.
He screamed.
We were in a call together watching it at the same time. I still remember it vividly. Shinya Takahashi comes on screen and he starts talking about Metroid Prime 4. And, I'm a little disappointed that we didn't see that, but whatever, we're getting Dread. Our patience has been rewarded. Our impatience, more likely, has been rewarded and exceeded. Dread takes what Samus Returns did, from what I've seen so far, and just builds on it, improves it. I think it's going to be superior to Samus Returns. Samus moves beautifully. The environments they're the best environments of any 2D Metroid game so far. The wait was worth it, because we're finally getting it.
I know when I saw the Metroid Dread, just as soon as they started talking about Metroid, I just got so excited because I did not see this coming. I thought maybe we would get the Metroid Prime trilogy on the Switch, which, would be awesome, but nowhere nearly as cool as a freaking brand new Metroid game. And I didn't really have the history of the knowledge of Metroid Dread prior to all of this. I had heard things about Metroid 5 and what that might be, but I didn't know the history of Metroid Dread, of how it would have been in talks for so long and people were expecting it quite a while ago and everything. And so I am excited to get to learn all of this new Metroid stuff in the next 4 months, because that'll be pretty cool. And I'm also just really excited that this is going to introduce just a new generation of Metroid that has probably never played it, unless they played maybe Samus Returns on the 3DS. But even then, that was, I don't know how many years ago. Feels like forever ago. And so, but not everybody had the 3DS, but more have a Switch. And so it gives more people an opportunity to play it, and you're going to get these parents and kids getting to play together, and family members and friends, and it's just going to bring so many Metroid fans together, and it's so exciting, and I am so happy. I was just watching the direct the whole time, and I was just flailing. I was so excited.
You're right about a whole new generation of people discovering Metroid for the first time. Just based on our social media activity, a lot of players who had never played Metroid before are now excited for Dread, and they're getting into the series. And Dread is outselling Zelda and Pokemon in pre-orders. That never happens.
Yeah, I could not get a pre-order to go through. I had it in my cart and everything, and it was just no, because I was trying to get the special edition. And it's while I'm disappointed I haven't been able to get the special edition, I am so excited that is happening, because that means it's showing how many people really want more Metroid. And when the sales go up that much, that means they're going to be making more Metroids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was actually at the top of the GameStop pre-order list. Out of all the games that were shown at E3, it was at the very top of pre-orders, which I think is pretty amazing. I haven't had as much difficulty obtaining pre-order for the special edition over here in the United Kingdom. I actually at one point had 3 of them on pre-order, but I have cancelled one, and the idea was that I would be able to pick one up for a friend, because I did have a friend that was struggling. But thankfully he's been able to get his copy now, so shouldn't be too much of a problem. Hopefully more copies will become available. What I like about the special edition is that the previous one, for Samus Returns, you had there was a soundtrack and the game, I think, but over in Europe we had a much more substantial special edition, which included like a keychain, soundtrack, all kinds of different things, plus the game. This special edition is available worldwide, which is a much bigger deal, and I think that there's going to be more copies available. I don't think it's going to be as difficult to obtain. So I think just keep checking stores and just ask your local retailer if they plan to stock it and put a pre-order in. I think you should be able to get one. It'll just take a bit of time.
I hope that they do another run of copies closer to release, because it's just, at least for me right now, I've been checking retailers 3 times a day and it's still sold out. I had a copy reserved in checkout because my friend sent me a link and said it's available, go get it. I got as far as checkout and then I had to retrieve my PayPal login. And it sold out while I was doing that.
Oh, no. Yeah, I got as far as checkout as well. And I put in my credit card information. I put everything in. It was like, okay. And then as soon as I hit complete, it was like, oh, your order was unable to be completed. And it says it's sold out. I'm going, oh.
So I want to talk about Samus's amazing suit for this game, which seems to be the fusion suit with a few changes to it. But I kind of like it. It's very shiny, and it's just great to see her in probably the best she's ever looked, actually. She looks absolutely stunning.
I love it. I think it's a perfect, forgive me, fusion between the fusion suit and the classic Various suit. Our social media manager, Gladrax, has a very good theory for why it looks the way it does. In the Metroid series, Samus's suit is supposed to be like a second skin and replenishing all the time. Like that infamous scene with Adam and Other M. He shoots her and she loses control of her suit. Eventually, it comes back and she's able to use it again. So he thinks that maybe the old Various suit, which had to have parts of it removed because of her X-parasite infection, what if the suit is regenerating? And what if by the end of Dread, she has her old Various suit back?
That'd be really awesome, and I kind of like that theory a lot.
I like that too. That's really cool.
I want a final boss fight where, it's kind of becoming a cliche now in Metroid games where Samus looks like she's about to be defeated by the boss, where she's weakened to the point, like, Mother Brain's Hyper Beam, the Omega Metroid, and in Samus Returns, Proteus Ridley about to kill her, where something comes in and saves her. But I want that in a final boss fight, but instead of something coming to save Samus, she saves herself. Like, her suit finishes regenerating, she gets up, and it's this awesome scene where she, there's a clip in the Dread trailer where she jumps up and her suit flashes, which tells me it's maybe a suit upgrade. That, but then she has her classic suit back, and then she's all powerful and she nukes whatever the final boss.
Honestly, I'm just super excited about it. I love the way Samus looks. I love her new suit. I think it looks really cool, super shiny. I love it. What were those things that were going after her called? I cannot remember.
The Emmy robots.
Emmy?
Yeah.
Emmy robot. I was like, is it SC? Okay, I knew it was an E and an I. I just couldn't remember what the middle letter was. But those are terrifying. Like, I kept going back and forth between, funny portal looking things, and holy crap, those are terrifying. I don't want to be chased by one of those. I'm going to scream, and I'm going to have fun, and it's going to be great.
I just love how they're animated.
Yep.
Do you remember, because you played Fusion a lot growing up, were you ever scared by the SAX?
No, I don't think so.
A lot of Metroid fans were. The Emmy make the SAX look like a bunch of puppies. Whereas in Fusion, the SAX, although in the narrative is a very powerful and smart foe, actually has terrible AI coding. Like, you can hang out on a ledge above, and it'll try and screw attack up to you, just repeatedly. It doesn't know how to use the power grip or something. It just jumps up. No, the Emmy follow you in this game. You have to, be quiet and actually hide, because they will not stop pursuing you. And You can counter them, but it's very difficult. So you're right.
Okay, not gonna lie, when I stream this is gonna be like the funniest thing because I'm just gonna be screaming the whole time anything it goes after me because I know how I am.
Oh yeah.
That makes a change from crying.
I won't be crying. I will just be screaming.
That's okay. We'll be there to support you.
Excellent.
I'll be there to laugh at you.
And then I'll be laughing the whole time. I will go from screaming to laughing, screaming to laughing.
I just love the way that they're animated. Like, you know, if it's pointing in one direction and Samus is in another, it'll just sort of like put its head like underneath itself and then turn itself around. Like, it must have been such a pain to do that. I was talking with a friend of mine. He was the one that brought this up, and we were blown away by just how I wouldn't want to animate that. I think that is a very complex looking thing. And in future areas as well, it does even more things, I would imagine, because the first one can't go through tight gaps, but the second one can, and it makes me wonder what else they've got up their sleeve. So I think the Emmy robots are going to be very interesting, so I can't wait to see those. I'm really excited for the return of Adam as well as the ship's computer. I'm really glad that they're sticking with the continuity of the series. Obviously, we don't know what kind of a role he's going to have yet. I was a little bit concerned that we didn't see the animals. The animals are a staple of the series, and they were alive at the end of Fusion, so I want to see them in Dread. Hopefully they will be.
If they're not alive, we riot.
I'm going to be so angry if something happens to them. Like, you lay one finger on that baby Decora and I will riot.
They're all on a nature preserve.
I just hope they find a home.
You know what? I've told Darren this before, but I came up with this because last year Darren wrote a Metroid 5 concept feature for
thanks for plugging it
Shinesparkers.
Before I did, because I was going to do that. Yeah.
You're welcome. He wrote this feature, and one of the pillars of his concept was that a side objective of Samus was to find a new home for the Dackers and Etecoons. I took it a step further. I have in my head a headcanon where the special ending, instead of Samus taking her suit off and she's in a bikini and acting like a pinup girl, she flies to wherever she left the animals, disembarks from her ship. They've been waiting for her. It's this grassy field or something in a beautiful area. She disembarks. She takes her suit off. The animals were there waiting for her. She kneels down, reaches out her arms, and they run up to her and they hug her. And then the last few scenes are her sitting with them, running around with them, and just enjoying herself. We don't really see that in Metroid. So they need to do that, and they better not hurt the animals, because if they do, I will riot. We don't do scores for our reviews, but I will give it a 0.
It will be the first score.
Well, my headcanon is probably not going to be good, because, yeah, it's all of that, but then the 100% completion is where she skins the animals, she goes full Cruella, and just makes a Varia suit out of them. Can we go with that? Is that popular with the fans, do you think?
Amanda, I need your help deposing Darren.
That's a mailbag.
Shinesparkers.
Mailbag question. Would you like us to skin the animals in Metroid Dread? No, I'm joking. Don't do that.
Amanda, let's depose Darren.
Should we move on to the next topic?
Got it. So next up on the discussion is the future of Metroid. This is going to complete a story arc. So what would it be like to see happen with the series after Metroid 5? I think a good way to do it would be kind of like how they did with Tomb Raider, where it was kind of like a new Tomb Raider and it wasn't just the original Lara Croft. So maybe just have like a new Samus, so to speak. As much as we all love Samus, she'd still be wearing the same outfit and she would still be just as cool, just continuing on the story. I mean,
like a rebooted continuity.
Yeah, but still have current Samus like maybe around. She could be like a mentor to the new one.
Sat in a
that is up
retirement
and
home
coming.
doing a Zoom call to all the new hunters. And
Yes, exactly. She could have her own little bounty hunter school, and she can teach all the new little bounty hunters. And then there'd be like the one that goes up on the adventure that's life or death, and Samus has to like really step it up and help her out and take on. And then at the very end, she takes on in the boss battle, and they fight it together. I think it'd be cool. And that also like bridges the gap between new Metroid players and older Metroid players, because the older ones would be like, oh, I remember when Samus was the hero, and the new ones would be like, oh, cool, and then they go back and play the old ones.
That is very, very interesting. Because the game, I mean, the series isn't called Samus, is it? It's called Metroid. So, you know, so you could change the character, potentially. Although I think it's blasphemous. I think fans would never go with that. But it's a very good idea.
Samus would still be there. This would just be Samus's little protege.
I see. Well, for me, I think the initial discussion about how this is going to be like the sort of the closing game, it was kind of a surprise, because this is a story that has started and will finish within the space of 35 years, which is a huge amount of time. And to think that it's going to end was kind of, surely not, surely they wouldn't do that. So I'm glad that Mr. Sakamoto actually confirmed that there are going to be other stories. And I'm very intrigued, but also a little bit nervous about what those new stories are going to be and where the series will go next. Yeah, I'm a little bit. I'm going to keep an open mind. I hope that that it's still going to feel like Metroid, and it's going to have that same level of exploration. Yeah, I hope that the mechanics of Metroid are still going to be there. If it's just the story that's changed, and I hope nothing else changes too much. Got to think about those core things that make a Metroid game, and that is, bosses, adventure, exploration, backtracking, power-ups, those kinds of things. Music, awesome music. All of those things need to be present in any future game, in my opinion. But since Samus Returns released, it just goes to show that 2D Metroid is still alive and well, and there's still an appetite for it. So I look forward to seeing other traditional style Metroid games in the future after Dread. But I think for now I'm just going to be very interested in playing Dread, and we'll see what the closing story is going to be like. I'm very intrigued to see what happens with the Chozo, which was present in the trailer, actually. We didn't really talk about that. That's a really awesome reveal, because we've never actually seen a Chozo before, as in like a living Chozo.
A living, breathing Chozo. But
I do feel that I might be going off topic a little bit here, but I do wonder, is that actually a living Chozo? I'm not sure. We'll have to see. Maybe it's an X-parasite or something. Who knows? But hopefully it is. Whether it's a good Chozo or an evil Chozo, we'll have to find out. But I am excited that we're going to see a Chozo. So maybe that's the future of Metroid. Maybe it's going to include the Chozo. Maybe that is the thing that we have to fight against next. Maybe it's the good and evil factions of the Chozo. If Metroids aren't present, then I question if they're going to still call the series Metroid, or it's going to be a sub-series Metroid, like Metroid Prime, for example. So yeah, quite intrigued, and I can't wait to see what happens in the future. But for now, I'm just going to play Dread, enjoy that game, and see what the story is when it unfolds in October.
When Sakamoto-san said that Dread would end the current arc of the series, that gave me pause. And I'm sure it gave a lot of other people pause. As you said, this story has been 35 years in the making. This story has been going on for both of your lives, actually. Because Metroid came out in 1986, and you were both born in that year. Think about that.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Yep.
Thanks for that. We feel really old now.
My pleasure. Anyway, it gave me pause because I thought, what does that mean? Is this going to be the very last Metroid game? And he, of course, clarified later, no, it won't. But this is leading to a whole other debate. Is this going to be the last game of the current timeline? Because I see two possible paths from Dread, and we don't know much about the story itself. Well, we know like the beginning, but how it unfolds. It could be that Dread ends the timeline as we've known it since the start of the series. So the classic games plus the Prime games, and Dread is the final in the story. And then the next Metroid game starts with a rebooted story. Like, as Amanda said, Samus is now mentoring other bounty hunters, or perhaps it's a new continuity like Tomb Raider where it's an origin story and then it just follows Samus from there. Or the original timeline continues, and maybe this is the last one with Metroids, with the next game including a new threat, either the Chozo or something else. I have mixed feelings about possibly ending the arc. I want it to continue. At the same time, we've been waiting a long time for answers from the end of Fusion. How corrupt the Federation has become. How far into the Federation does the corruption extend? And where are the Chozo? These are the questions that I want answers to, and I think Dread will answer them. Whatever they decide to do with the future, it's going to be emotional, for sure. It's going to be cathartic, because this is what we've been waiting for, and it's finally coming.
You make it sound like she's going to die, Roy.
Well, I'd be lying if I said that hadn't crossed my mind. I don't think they will, because
I don't think they will either. But
the only characters I can think of that they've killed off are like Fire Emblem characters.
So I have a question for all of you that are listening. What are your thoughts on the announcement of Metroid Dread? Let us know. You can tag us on Twitter at Shinesparkers. Well, thank you, everybody, for listening. It was so great getting to talk about Metroid Dread. I think we're all still fanboying and fangirling over it right now. We're just so excited. And I will see you next mission.
Yeah, see you next mission.
See you next mission.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of the... I just said 3. Where did
Three?
I get 3? I don't know.
How many have we done?
I was thinking, you know what I was thinking? I was thinking there's 3 of us talking today, and that's the first thing that came into mind is there's 3 of us. And that's where 3 came in.
Did you hit your head again while surfing?
I swallowed a lot of ocean water, but I didn't hit my head.
That'll do it.
Definitely swallowed a lot of ocean water.
That'll do it. Drinking salt water tends to dehydrate, ironically.
Yeah, it does. It's weird.
Should we try that again?
Let's.
Okay. We are 14, episode 14. Alrighty.
It literally says it on the sheets, though, Amanda.
Yeah, I know.
All right. To your point about a new generation of people discovering it, I'll start that again.
Well, that would
it'll
certainly
be just like when Anna unfroze herself.
Yes.
Sorry?
I was saying it's to be just like when Anna unfroze herself in Frozen. She used her own power within to thaw her frozen heart.
Yes.
I think you've just got to let it go now, Amanda. This podcast. We're supposed to be talking about Metroid, not Elsa and the frozen body and all this. Yeah. I got the characters wrong, didn't I? It's not Elsa, it's the other one.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did.
Anna's the one that matters.
That's why I'm a
Metroid
fan, not a Frozen fan, you see.
Elsa's overrated.
Yeah.
She kind of is. Mm-hmm. Anna's the real hero.
Yeah. Our social media No.
So next on the discussion is the future of Metroid. What do we expect in this new game, and what do we want to see once... let me try that again.
And to any scalpers who might be listening, I wish... I was about to say something savage and then I just started laughing.
Oh, say it. Say something savage. Be savage.
And to any scalpers who are listening to this episode... No, I can't say it. I can't say
it. Roy's broken. We broke him.
I was broken a long time ago.
you want to give it another try?
Yeah. And to any scalpers who are listening, I wish you die.
No, he's gone. He can't do it. It's fine. Are you trying to quote that thing that we were talking about the other day that we saw?
I typed it.
Did you? Yeah, I can imagine why that would be difficult to say.
Nice. I mean, I've had to go to a GI before, so it doesn't really bother me.
Maybe you can say it without cracking.
Fine, I'll say it.
You might want to...
Go for it.
Yeah, I was just thinking you might want to just mention in the chat that you're not wishing that upon the staff.
Yeah.
Because, yeah. That is
That's funny.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, so Roy says, I wish you diarrhea for the rest of your lives, scalpers. See, I have IBS, so I already have that problem.
Too much information. Let's move on to the next subject.
Exactly. But I'm not a scalper, so that's not fair.
You just got diarrhea. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on.
No, I don't want to move on just yet. I was thinking because we do
you
have
don't want to move on from diarrhea?
No, we don't want to move on. No.
I mean, I can tell you all about my colonoscopy.
No, you're okay. No, something's
We're
moving,
good.
but it's probably my stomach right now. No, I want to talk about Samus's suit. Samus's
and
suit
having diarrhea.
No,
in the
we're
Samus
not
suit.
talking about diarrhea. My goodness, this is a professional podcast reaching thousands of fans, and we're talking about your IBS, and it's not acceptable, Amanda. I'm sorry. This podcast was edited by Darren Kerwin, with music from Maserati. If you enjoyed the podcast, you can find more at shinesparkers.net, along with the latest Metroid news, community features, and exclusive content. Alternatively, you can also find us on social media at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. See you next mission.